Welcome to the Women's Circle interviews. Our circle interviews are designed to model possibility, increase creativity, tap into intuition, and create a network of global connection to light up the world. It's only when you realize what's possible for you that you're able to step into who you are meant to be and build the business and life of your dreams on your own terms. You are truly magnificent and designed to live a life worthy of you. It's never too late to start. Are you ready? Let's dive right in. My guest today is Arpana Sarkar.
Half an hour.
Arpana is a single parent, certified life coach, and certified Hatha yoga practitioner. She's Indian born, brought up in Kenya, and now living in Portugal. Her vision is to empower women starting from youth girls to align their mindset with the frequency of the universe, or what it takes to be or get on the path of least resistance. Welcome, Arpana.
Thank you very much. Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
So
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Your work evolves around mindset. And what's your definition of mindset?
Yes. I look at mindset as a habitual practice in thinking that has over the years developed a certain habit, and that develops into an action, and with that kind of repeated action we get a result in our life.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you have grown up in any family or any environment that has some sort of disempowering or negative conversation or attitudes of the family members or the peers, that some of our families have that common something to say that, oh, you are so dumb, for instance, just as an example. If a child grows up with criticism, not realizing that it is criticism, he or she will be constantly thinking that is always on a defensive, will always be defensive. So that continuous thought process develops into a mindset. And when it is a mindset, that will give rise to certain types of habits, which then become a result in one's life. So, people can be successful or not, or have poor relationships or anything in any field of life. So that's what is mindset. And that becomes something which once we know, we can change it or improve on it, or that's how I see.
Yeah.
And
mindset is
hugely.
The reason
I talk about the teens starting, because it's at that time that we are beginning to. So yeah, you're not very clear, but I can. Yeah. Please repeat.
So I was just saying that the mindset sounds like a really important thing. So how do we know when we have developed the mindset, and how do we know how to shift it?
Okay. I think I would say that sometimes we don't even realize that we have a mindset, that we are working from a mindset. This only happens when life brings you in a situation where either you're not able to get what you want, like you feel that you should be in a position. Let's take the example of a job. You know that you must be at this level because of the kind of work you're doing or the output, and yet you're not getting there. There's always that desire and a discord, like within you, inside, you will feel that push and pull, that you want to be there and yet you're not getting there. You're doing everything, so it will continuously keep bothering. So that is the time we can recognize that there is something that is working against us. But what is against us is not outside. It's not outside of us. It is within our own self, our own thinking. Now, if you're not aware, if you haven't actually been exposed to any sort of, such desires or questions or anything, it'll set you to start thinking. Now, why am I feeling like this? Now, that becomes the first understanding or awareness of your mindset. This is the time when I would say that, if I had anybody who wanted to know, that start becoming aware, become aware of your, surroundings, of yourself. It's a becoming aware is also quite a subject, and it's
Yes.
it's a process. It's a process. So the very first thing is to see what is it that you're feeling. There's always going to be that, disharmony. You'll never feel comfortable or content. There'll always be something within you that will want to know. That's when you understand that, yeah, there is something working against me. Could be my mindset, you know.
Yeah.
And
So
so
how do
I
you
would,
develop awareness?
so to develop that, obviously, then becomes, once you get aware, become aware of this, then now there are so many modalities, so many ways of helping yourself. I started because I was quite, if I tell my story, was I grew up almost like a dreamer. I had no directions or anything. I grew up with my mom while the family were all in Kenya and I was in India at that time. But I just grew up, like, without any purpose, anything. And then I started feeling that, I at times I used to think big dreams, but I didn't have the action. I didn't know how to get there. I didn't even know that I didn't know. You know, I didn't know that. And my mom was she was a lovely person, but in those days there were not much education and all that. So she did her bit with me, but I suppose there was something lacking. Then once I got married is the time when I realized that things were not okay. There were a lot of problems. And this is when I started looking inwards, going towards within myself, understanding, and then of course the first thing I did was pray, start praying. You have faith. You start
Mhm.
praying and hope that, your life will just become better. It doesn't. It doesn't happen that way. You have to start working on it. So slow and steadily, I started doing things now working, and I like, so, I mean, sometimes you don't know what you like, but you definitely know what you don't like. So based on
Yes.
what you don't like, you can move towards what you like. So you work towards that, and that's what I did with my marriage. And then and slowly I got some mentors. I did meditation. I had some of the very quite big mentors like John Ashraf, Mary Morrissey. I attended events. I attended a lot of self motivation talks and read books and tried to understand myself, became aware because I didn't have any other help. Like nowadays, we have so many coaches and all that, at a very affordable rate, you can actually get help. But in my time, I was just growing up just on my own. And then I also met some people who were very positive and helped me understand few things. Like I didn't know this, being in the flow of the energy of the universe, or this power of attraction, or any of that. I really didn't know. I just knew that I had to get on with life. and work towards what, away from what I don't like. That's what I used to work from, what I don't like. I didn't work from what I like. See, that's a mindset.
Yeah.
When you're, because I was always kind of, I didn't like something, but I never switched the perception to what I like. So I didn't like, my growing up was probably more with that. I don't like this, so I rebel. I don't like this, so I'm defensive. I don't like this, so So you see, I was going from a don't like um, sphere rather than the other way, and and the power of attraction works both ways. What you don't like, you get more of it, and what you
Yes.
like, you get more of it.
Whatever
So
you focus on.
that's where now I slowly learned. And then, of course, as you said, how can one learn to move away from such mindsets or situation? These are the small steps that you take. You first have to become aware of who you are as a human being. We are we have, as we all know now, it's even more clear that we are spiritual beings. We are energy beings. Everything is energy, and we are having a human experience. That is a common understanding. A lot of people understand, but that's
Yeah.
also sometimes theory. So to make it
Yeah.
practical is where now the steps come in. So you become aware of yourself, who you are, what is your connection with nature, what brings you in on earth, why are you here?
You're curious.
Because there's life and death, so why are you here? And then from there, practice gratitude. Number one on the list of changing your lifestyle is gratitude for what you have.
Hmm.
And that is also a matter of awareness. We are never aware of what we have. We always are aware of what we most, I mean, I won't know what percentage, but more percentage of people will talk about what they don't have.
Yes. What's missing?
I don't have a good job. I don't have a good family. I don't, first thing, very few people would turn around and actually say, I have all this. What I don't have, I don't even think of. Yeah. So that becomes, for most of us, that is also a point to first become aware of you, then become aware of your body. At times you are watching a movie. If you're watching a horror movie, you are just tense. You know how the body becomes tense. Many of us will never realize that the body has become tense. That is also a form of awareness. So when you start becoming aware of little things, something like you ate, how does it feel, that food going into the body? How does it feel taking the breath? When we are breathing, we just breathe automatically, and we take it for granted. We take breathing for granted. It's like you don't even have a second thought. But you sit down and breathe, do some breathing exercises, you can actually feel the breath going into the body. You can feel the muscles and all that. So that's another training. I mean, because we don't have a lot of time, I just will say, so this breathing, I mean, this awareness of your outer body, your inner body, of your environment around you, you can start becoming just aware of this tree. This, you will find a lot of people have never noticed something beautiful
Hmm.
that is sitting in the corner of the road. They've never seen it. I used to drive to work every day. I had never seen a beautiful tree always there, which I'd never noticed until I started becoming aware. And then I see and I say, oh, this is so lovely. I see and then I'm going down another road and I see, oh, look at the view. It's so beautiful. So that creates awareness. And then as you start getting more and more aware of these little things around you, you now start getting aware of what you're thinking. We
Yes.
think, I don't know how many, 5,000 thoughts in a second.
Yes. What you practice grows.
Within the second, you can move from, you can be all over the place with that thought. So then we start getting aware of our thoughts. And the moment you become aware of your thoughts, you can then identify the kind of thoughts you have, you know, because we
Right.
have got how many? Four types of thoughts. There's waste thoughts, there's neutral thoughts, there's positive thoughts, negative thoughts. So most of the times we are not even aware of what we are thinking. And if it is a negative thought, it keeps on creating momentum, because one negative thought
Propels.
continuously will bring in a lot of negative emotion, negative energy, creating negative emotion. So these
Yeah.
are little steps that then can eventually, I I don't say that we become perfect at any type of our life. We keep learning and learning. And then you will find that you can actually start taking control of the results in your life. You know,
Yeah. So you
as
mentioned that you had to get on with life earlier
yes,
on. Can you describe that feeling? Because a lot of people, like, they do have some kind of feeling that, they're behind or they're not living to their full potential. Like, what does that feel like? That need to get
even
on with life?
yes, because what happens is that we anyway get on with life, not because you'll just wake up in the morning and then do the rituals and go
Uh-huh.
off to work without a second thought. So we are just going on.
Yeah.
And then when we hit any kind of an obstacle or something that can break us, can just, you either can get, into a breakdown situation depending on the extent of that obstacle, or you feel hurt, you can now carry some baggage, because that hurt and pain has created some blocks, some emotional
Mhm.
blocks in the body. But because the day is moving on and the night is coming and the next day, so again we physically move on, but emotionally, mentally, we get stuck in certain areas of our life, which at that point was either disappointing or it was painful. It could be anything. So when I said that I just started moving on in life, I actually was doing a physical movement in life. I was just moving day to day, because I still didn't have the tools of how to make my life better. I didn't actually know. But we are, the human is much bigger than it is its circumstances or any problem. We
Yeah.
have what we call the source, or the inherent, the higher self. There's some spirit within us that gives us that power. And was I was 26 when I actually walked out of my marriage. I was 23 when I got married, 26 when I walked out with a 3-year-old daughter, girl, and not being a professional, so to speak, I had not a lot of money, or a job that paid me a lot of money. But there was some form of courage, which is where what I didn't want was the basis. See, I didn't want this life. So the courage made me look for to get out of that life. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. So the courage I
Hmm.
had, because of the spirit within us, all of us have it. But because we don't actually, what should I say, give much attention to it. We are only interested in the external, outside of us, and we get discouraged by our environment. Fortunately, I just took the leap. And then I started moving on, again, as I say, physically, meaning getting out of this situation into another one, and just moving on with life. It's only after I got this mentorship, and I got this understanding that, you know what, you need to sit back and understand what's going on within you. Why you feel this? What is it? This is getting married was already one, in quotes, failed attempt, because
Mhm.
marriage is supposed, if you walk out of a marriage, and especially in those years, it was like a failure. And there's nothing like that. There's no failure. There's no, we label. In those days, labeling was very, very common. Anybody was labeled good, bad, fat, thin, ugly, pretty. We just had to label somebody is that, oh, if somebody had some habits which were not very nice, but was a good human being, that person was immediately told, oh, he's useless,
Yeah.
completely cancelled. So this is why a lot of us, as we grow into being adults, because of that kind of labeling, it discourages our productivity, disempowers us. So when you become aware, so these are the steps actually. When you start becoming aware, when you first and foremost understand something is not going well in my life, maybe my relationships. I mean, you can walk out of one relationship and then get into another one, and then soon you walk out of that one, and soon another one. But we don't actually, because this is not a movie that is playing in front of us, we don't see the back, we don't see the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, when you're here on your fourth relationship, very seldom will you sit back and say, "Oh, but a few years ago, I was out of my first one, then the second one, then the third one. Then why am I always going out of relationship?" We never reflect. It's not a common habit to reflect.
Hmm.
So these are habits that we have to actually um, have to create. First and foremost, we have to start understanding and create, and then see that, okay, this must be my mindset. This is
Yeah.
how I think. And
Because
that thinking, the
there's so
first,
much going
the,
on all the time that, I mean, like you were talking about judgment, and we judge because it's our way to survive, to see if something is dangerous or not dangerous. But we're not in that area anymore that we have to think of, danger has changed. But there's also so much going on that it's hard to process and zoom in on, okay, what is important here? How am I limiting myself in this
exactly,
area?
yes,
How do I look at more possibilities? There's just so much going on. So, and as you say, like the more you practice being aware, it starts with little things, right? And the more you practice it, it grows, because whatever you focus on is
yes,
going to grow. Just like when you
exactly,
practice your negative thinking, whatever is programmed in, that's what grows, and it's on default because you've practiced it for so long. So like super interesting. Thank you so much for joining me today, Arpana. It's such a pleasure connecting with you and sharing your gift with our circle. And I do hope to
thank
see
you
you
very
again. There's so much more here to expand on, and we were a little bit cheated there at the beginning.
Thank you so much for having me here, and it was a pleasure. And yeah, this is the beginning of our interview. Was just like life; it does give us
Yes.
challenges, and but the good thing is that we were actually able to salvage
Yes,
this interview and go on with it. I
exactly.
would
Not
say
give
that
up, right? Stick with it.
as a closing line, that anybody who listens to this interview should understand that all the power is within us, and you can change your life the way you want anytime.
Yes,
So
very powerful.
thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay. All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Arpana invites you to join her Woman Rocking Abundance Facebook group or reach out to her to continue the conversation. If you haven't already, be sure to join our women's circle, Awakken Feminine, to reclaim your authentic voice through play. We meet to create connection, elevate, and celebrate each other through games and exercises geared to tap into our intuition and give voice to our longings and desires. If you have a gift you want to share with the world, I encourage you to schedule an interview with me so I can help you spread your unique message and perspective. You don't need any superpowers or be well on your way. You just need to have an idea, a vision, or a direction that you think will inspire others. And if no one told you today, I want you to know that you're amazing. Continue to live with passion, purpose, and presence. The world needs to see your light shine brightly as an example to others of what is possible for them also.